The ceremony will begin shortly. At this time, please turn off or silence all electronic devices. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, family, and friends who are able to join us in person today, as well as those who are watching via our live stream. Welcome to the 2026 commissioning ceremony of the Syracuse University Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps program out of Syracuse University Detachment 535. Today, we will commission 3 senior cadets as second lieutenants in the United States Air Force. I am Cadet Annika Forno, and I will be your narrator today. Thank you to all family, friends, and guests for attending today's ceremony. The commissions we will present today come directly from the President of the United States, and they represent a special trust and confidence that the American people place in these soon-to-be officers, a trust that they will put their loyalty to our Constitution above all else. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and the playing of the national anthem. Please take your seats. It is my pleasure to introduce our presiding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Scarda, United States Air Force, Professor of Aerospace Studies and Commander of Air Force ROTC, Detachment 535.
Sorry, nothing against you, Cadet Forno, but I am a giant, all right? So I need to run this thing up a little bit. Okay, hey, I'm just going to step out for a second. Just welcome everybody, all the families and friends in the audience. This is a really, really awesome day. It's great to have you here. To any distinguished visitors in the audience, if I don't call you out specifically, it's not a slight, all right? It's just a lot of people come and go, and you're more than welcome, and a special welcome to you as well. Obviously, to our cadets, welcome. To our cadre, welcome. It's like a mini Det 535 reunion here. We've got 2 former cadres, some real talent over to my right, your left. It's great to see everybody, it really is. Today is a really special day. It's prestigious, and yes, it comes with some responsibility. It comes with a lot of responsibility. In fact, I would argue today is one of the most anticipated days of 2026. All right? Right up there with the FIFA World Cup, Avengers Doomsday, the release of GTA 6. If you didn't get that reference or a couple of those references, don't worry. That just means you're probably over the age of 40, okay? But I heard a lot of laughs over here, so that's good. But even though today won't get a million views like the Bad Bunny halftime show concert did, I would argue today is 1,000 times more meaningful and more consequential. And that's because what you're witnessing today is one of the oldest traditions in our nation's history, the commission. In fact, this commission, the idea of it goes all the way back to the Roman Empire. In the centuries since, it's evolved from originating as a way for the sovereign to extend their power throughout the realm. But in our modern democracy times, it is a constitutional act. Okay? What you're witnessing today is Article 2 of the US Constitution, which prescribes the president as the responsibility to commission officers of our military. It's not a privilege, it's a responsibility. So every new lieutenant here today, every officer that's in our armed forces, when they give an order, when they make a decision, it all traces back to that constitutional authority. It is a very special thing, so what you're witnessing today is a special event. And we'll be clear that although the executive, yes, appoints the military officer, and although the legislature provides the rules and regulations and provides the funding for the military officer, and although the judiciary sometimes adjudicates the military officer, I want to be clear that the oath you're hearing today is to that most beautiful and special document, the U.S. Constitution. So give me a second, I'm going to go back to my notes. I got some things to say real quick before I bring up our guest speaker. And I want to make sure I hit all the points, all right? But welcome, everybody. It's so great to have you all. Like I said, in just a moment, we're going to bring up Lieutenant Colonel Lippert. Okay, he's a real speaking talent of today. I'm just a warm-up act. But before I do that, we do need to acknowledge 3 important groups in this room, and then address one important order of business. So first, we need to recognize the cadre and staff who are off to my right, off to your left, of Det 535. Though the names and faces have changed over the years, the collective efforts of our officers and NCOs, past and present, and some from the past are here, so it's great, have been essential in shaping these cadets into the leaders they are today. So thank you. Second, we must recognize the families and friends of our cadets. You've been through the good times and the bad, the victories and the setbacks. These cadets could not have accomplished what they have without your steady support, so thank you. And finally, to our soon-to-be lieutenants. You made it. Kind of. Almost. Just don't medically injure yourself on the way up to stage, all right, please? That'd be bad. Sergeant Staley would have you for that, all right? Since you began this ROTC journey 4 years ago, you've invested 224 hours into leadership labs, 176 hours into group physical training, 112 hours into aerospace studies classes. You've completed FTX's F4 drum, Notre Dame basketball tournaments, Battles of New York, community service projects, base visits, incentive flights, and summer field training at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama, which was no small feat because I'm not afraid to say it, Alabama summers are literal hell on earth, all right? I say it with all well-meaning, having lived there for 3 years myself. All that to say, hey, well done, cadets. So proud of you. And as your ACE instructor, I also want to say how incredibly satisfying it's been to guide you through this final year of ROTC. You kept me on my toes, where I believe an officer should always be, and never let me off the hook. Just one piece of advice, though, by way of a quote from Will Ferrell during his commencement speech at Harvard. As you set off into the world, don't be afraid to question your leaders, but don't ask too many questions at one time, or ask questions that are too hard, because your leaders get tired and cranky, all right? But in all seriousness, you 3 are exactly the leaders of character our country and our Air Force needs to fulfill that most solemn oath we take to support and defend these United States. To say I'm proud of your accomplishments and humbled by your strength is a vast understatement. I'm honored to welcome you into the profession of arms, and just to be clear, I never got tired of cranky of you, okay? Now, before we bring up Colonel Lippert, there is one last order of commander business I need to get to, and that is to publicly recognize the Distinguished Graduate. The Distinguished Graduate Award, or DG for short, is the highest award any detachment commander in Air Force ROTC can give. It recognizes a cadet who consistently, over 4 years, exceeded the highest standards of academics, leadership, personal excellence, and service. It's the only ROTC award that follows a cadet onto active duty. And DG is not something that every commander even gets to award. In fact, of the 18 detachments in our Northeast region with a comparably sized commissioning class this year, just 11 cadets received this prestigious distinction. So believe me when I tell you that the competition was tight, and just in our DET, but also in the region, at the region level. Really tough decision. So without further ado, the DET 535 class of 2026 distinguished graduate is Cadet Emma Corby. Sorry. Front center, come on up. Cadet Corby, front center. So, sorry, apologies for the wrong emphasis on that word there, but yes, Cadet Corby, you're coming up here for a picture and certificate. So well done, Cadet Corby. Again, super tight competition, but I think it's no surprise here. Cadet Corby, you've just rocked it for 4 years. Great job. All right, so one. Okay, great stuff there, great stuff. Okay, so now for some real words of wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel retired Ryan Trailer Lippert. A name that should be very familiar with folks in this room, as he was literally standing right where I am just 3 short years ago. Ryan is a 2002 graduate of the United States Air Force Academy. After commissioning, he earned his pilot wings at Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi, and went on to become a T-38 instructor pilot, which, for those of you who don't know, means he got paid to teach young pilots how to go very fast and not break things. Mostly, yeah, sometimes. From there, he transitioned to the F-15 Echo Strike Eagle at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, North Carolina, where he became both an operational and formal training unit instructor. Over the course of his career, Ryan flew missions in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Inherent Resolve, and Operation Noble Eagle, logging more than 650 hours of combat time in the Strike Eagle. He went on to serve as the Director of Operations of the 494th Fighter Squadron at RAF Lakenheath in the UK. He worked on the staff at Air Force's Central Command and ultimately took command twice. First at the 48th Operational Support Squadron, and then right here at Detachment 535. Ryan retired in 2023 from here after 21 years of distinguished service, earning, along the way, the Air Medal with 6 Oak Leaf clusters, the Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf clusters, and the Air Force Combination Medal with 3 Oak Leaf clusters, among others. Today, he's a pilot for Delta Airlines, flying the Airbus 320 and DC-9, and he lives in Ohio with his equally impressive former fighter pilot wife, Shannon, and their 3 kids. So yes, he went from dodging surface-to-air fire to dodging beverage carts at 35,000 feet. It's still a dangerous line of work if you've ever been in row 14 during turbulence. And Ryan, I just want to say, thank God you don't work for Spirit Airlines, because that could have been very problematic getting you out here, but you are more than welcome. So we are truly honored to have Ryan back with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Colonel Lippert, United States Air Force retired, to the podium.
You are tall. Oh, goodness. How do I get this to go down? All right, we'll just live with it. How about that? Yeah, we'll be all right. All right. Good afternoon, cadets, faculty, family, friends, distinguished visitors. We're super excited to have you here for, as Colonel Scarta said, the special occasion for these 3 cadets. For these 3 cadets, soon to be lieutenants, these are my last connection to DET 535. We started with about 30, I think, in this room, 3.5 or 4 years ago, and here we are with 3. As you know, and we told you then on day 1, it is really hard to be an Air Force officer. It is really hard to be an Air Force officer. So congratulations for reaching it to this point. For first, a couple other things. I want to say thanks to the parents. Thanks for raising a phenomenal group of human beings. They're going to go out and serve our nation, the greatest nation in the world, and we couldn't have done it without you raising these incredible people. Thanks for all the support that you gave them over the years. Thanks for the support that you gave them while they completed their college career. And as they go off and serve our nation, they're probably going to continue to need your support. So I ask that you give phone calls, FaceTime, whatever means of communication that you provide, and then don't be afraid to stop by and visit them on occasion. They'll appreciate your love. So today is an important milestone. For 3 of you, it marks the final stretch before you commission as officers in the United States Air Force. You have spent years preparing for this moment, studying, training, being evaluated, learning what it means to follow, and then lead. But there's something about it, the profession of arms, that cannot be replicated in a classroom, simulator, or exercise. Eventually, every officer reaches a moment where preparation meets reality. A moment where the situation is unclear, the timeline is short, and the decision is yours. And those moments rarely arrive in calm conditions. They arrive like this. It's late at night, the mission is not going as planned, the radio is busy, and the situation is changing fast. And in that moment, someone has to decide. One day, that someone will be you. Not hypothetically, not in theory, soon. And when that moment comes, intent will not matter. Only decision will. Because in this profession, decisions shape missions, protect lives, and determine outcomes that cannot be reversed. And that responsibility demands more than technical skill. It demands something I may have coined, but somebody may have continued to use: mind, body, and spirit. Sounds extremely familiar to the cadets in the room, and now you know where Cadet Hurdy got it from. So first, the mind. You're in a profession where clarity matters more than certainty. You will rarely have perfect information. You'll often face competing priorities, and you'll almost always be under time pressure. That is where officers are made or exposed. A strong mind is not intelligence alone, it's discipline and thinking. It is the ability to slow chaos in your head while everything around you accelerates. It's asking, what do I know? What don't I know? And what matters most right now? And it's the humility to recognize that the best decision is often made after listening, not before. There will be moments when you are expected to speak first, but the best officers learn when to pause, process, and then decide with intent. Because in the United States Air Force, rushed thinking creates risk, but disciplined thinking creates advantage. Second, the body. Physical readiness is not a requirement to check. It is discipline made visible. Anyone can perform when conditions are favorable. Fewer can perform when it's uncomfortable. Fewer still when they are exhausted, stressed, and still expected to execute. That is why standards exist, because your team will not care what your intent was at 0600. They will care whether you can still function at 1800 when the mission is not finished. Your fitness is not just for you. It is for the people who will depend on you when they are exhausted. Because leaders do not set standards when it is easy, they set standards when it is hard and then live them. That is how trust is built in real units. And finally, the spirit. This is the part that cannot be measured, scored, or briefed, but is the part that defines you and what people remember most. As Dwight D. Eisenhower once said, the supreme quality for leadership is unquestionable integrity, which is part of your spirit. Spirit is character under pressure. It is what remains when no one is watching, no one is evaluating, and no one is rewarding. You will encounter moments where the easy choice is obvious, but the right choice is harder. Say that again. The easy choice is obvious, but the right choice is harder. And in those moments, rank does not decide your action, your character does. You will be tempted at times to bend standards slightly because it's just this one time, or to avoid a hard conversation because it feels uncomfortable. But small compromises do not stay small, they compound, and over time they shape culture. That is why spirit matters, because in the United States Air Force, we do not just produce officers, we produce competent officers, and we produce trusted officers. And trust is built long before the mission ever begins. It is built in the quiet decisions no one sees. And one day, these three things will stop being concepts, they'll be tested. Not in theory, in reality. Years from now, this room will not be what you remember. It won't be this speech. It will be a moment you do not anticipate. A phone call, a briefing, a situation that escalates faster than anyone planned. No time to prepare, no time to rehearse, no time to hesitate. And in that moment, you will not reach for notes or speeches. You will reach for what you built here, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And you will realize something simple. You were being prepared for that moment long before you knew it existed. The Air Force does not need perfect people. It needs ready ones, ready to think under pressure, ready to endure under fatigue, ready to stand firm when it is difficult. So build your mind, strengthen your body, and guard your spirit, because someday it will be late at night, the radio will be busy, the situation will be changing fast, and someone will have to decide. Make sure that someone is ready. Cadets, on behalf of your families, your instructors, the United States Air Force, congratulations on reaching this milestone. They said I'm supposed to bolt now.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Lippert, for your words of wisdom as our cadets prepare to take the next step in their journey into the Air Force as new lieutenants. At this time, Cadet Gratch will present a small token of appreciation from the class of 2026 commissioning class.
So as mentioned, thank you very much for coming back to the detachment and sharing with us your words of wisdom and advice. The seniors definitely do appreciate it. Put together a couple gifts here. First up is actually a photo of the seniors that we signed. Photo for that one. Up next, to represent Syracuse, we have a nice coffee mug as well. So should go to some great use.
It will. A soft spot for Syracuse.
That's right, yes, sir. And thank you so much. And to get one more round of applause for Colonel.
The first part of today's event is the administering of the oath for our soon-to-be lieutenants. The second part is the pinning of the lieutenant ranks and the first salute. After the oath, the lieutenant will be presented with their official commissioning certificate. Guests, feel free to come forward to take pictures of your new lieutenant during this time. Cadet Emma Corby will now be administered the oath of office by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Scarda, United States Air Force.
Okay, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Emma Corby,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which
of the office upon which
I'm about to enter.
I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Cadet Matthew Gratch will now be administered the oath of office by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Scarta, United States Air Force.
Okay, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Matthew Joseph Gratch,
Having been appointed as Second Lieutenant
having been appointed as Second Lieutenant
in the United States Air
in
Force,
the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Cadet James Hurdy will now be administered the oath of office by Captain Retired Katie Shaw, United States Air Force.
I state your full name,
I, James T. Hurdy,
having been appointed as second lieutenant
having been appointed as Second Lieutenant
in the United States Air Force,
in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon
of the office upon
which I am about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Scarta will present our new lieutenants with their first airman's coin. As a military tradition, an airman's coin is presented as a symbol of their transition from civilian to a member of the profession of arms.
So every single new accession in the United States Air Force gets what's called the Airman's Coin. These are so new, they're kind of sticking together. These are brand new. Every single one gets them. Whether you go to BMT, whether you come through ROTC, the academy, doesn't matter. Everyone gets an Airman's Coin. It's what unites us. One of the things, one of the many things that unites us. So it's very symbolic and it's a very special moment. We only do this once. All right.
Congratulations to our new lieutenants. Ladies and gentlemen, please join our newly minted lieutenants in the singing of the first verse of the Air Force song. The lyrics can be found in your programs.
Here they come, soon to meet our thunder, and
Thank you to everyone for joining us for this oath ceremony. This concludes the first half of the commissioning event. At this time, we will begin the second half of the commissioning ceremony. The lieutenants will have their rank pinned by family and friends and receive their first ever salute as an officer. We now ask that all family and friends participating in the pinning ceremony please join your lieutenant at stage right. The pinning of second lieutenant bars on the officer's uniform acknowledges the people that have supported and mentored these new officers during their training and development. The first salute honors the non-commissioned officers that have prepared them for leadership. It is a symbolic passing of the torch in which non-commissioned officers transition from mentor to subordinate in recognition of the competence achieved by the newly commissioned officer. When we call the lieutenant's name, we ask friends and family who are participating in this portion of the ceremony to please come forward and for the first salute individual to stand by. Lieutenant Corby will now have her second lieutenant rank pinned on. Second Lieutenant Corby is being pinned by her mother Michelle and her father Simon. Thank you to Lieutenant Corby's family. Lieutenant Corby will now receive her first salute from Master Sergeant Alexis Stanley, United States Air Force. Lieutenant Gratch will now have his second lieutenant rank pinned on. Second Lieutenant Gratch is being pinned by his mother Tracy and his father Vincent. Thank you to Lieutenant Gratch's family. Lieutenant Gratch will now receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Alexis Stanley, United States Air Force. Lieutenant Hurdy will now have his second lieutenant rank pinned on. Second Lieutenant Hurdy is being pinned by his mother Alice and his father David. thank you to Lieutenant Hurdy's family. Lieutenant Hurdy will now receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Alexis Stanley, United States Air Force. Please join me in one final round of applause for our new lieutenants. Before we conclude, I would like to thank Lieutenant Colonel Lippert for returning to Detachment 535 and speaking with us today, as well as all of the cadets who helped make this day special, including Cadets Harris, Churko, Van Arken, Proct, Frimpong, Catronio, Rice, Guy, Forno, and the lead cadet organizer of the special event, Cadet Stevens. And of course, a special thank you to Mrs. Virginia O'Connor and the rest of the Detachment 535 cadre for ensuring the success of this event through all of their hard work. I would also like to give a special thank you to Master Sergeant Stanley, who after 3 years at Detachment 535 will depart next month for Ellsworth Air Force Base. This year's commissioning class was Master Sergeant Stanley's first class as an aerospace studies instructor and holds a special place for her. Thank you, Sergeant Stanley, for everything. At this time, all commissionees will come forward to take their official photographs. We kindly ask that all guests remain seated until the official photos have completed. Once concluded, guests are welcome to approach the stage to take additional photos with your lieutenant and make your way to the reception in the Grand Hall located on the first floor of this building. Thank you for attending today's ceremony.